I don't think I will ever play a Nexon game ever again. I think the recent reveals of what's gone on with their manipulation of drop rates is just a huge violation of player trust that I don't think I can ever forgive. In case you missed it, Nexon, the developer, is now getting fined nearly $9 million for falsifying loot box drop rates in their game MapleStory. If you have missed it, this is not the first time that Nexon has been in the news for some deceptive practices in the past. I did a bit of digging just as a reference here, and they were also fined back in 2018 for some deceptive language in another loot box event they did in a different game. And now they're back again with straight up falsifying loot drop box information up to as late as 2021. This isn't back before there was different laws and legislation in place. This is very, very recently, and I am straight up pissed about it. In case you are unfamiliar, Nexon is the owner and developer of a game called MapleStory, which is a gacha MMO game that has been out since I believe 2010. And courtesy of PC Gamer here, apparently they've been slapped with an $8.85 million USD fine from Korea's Fair Trade Commission for changing the drop rates of items in MapleStory and another game, Bubble Fighter, between the years 2010 and 2021 without telling one that the changes have been made. It's straight up lying to the consumer, which is just so egregious. This goes right into someone's fear who plays gacha games or anything that's got a loot box system in it, that especially when it is a digital version of that there's a small fear of manipulation on the drop rates. And this is just proving that to be true, which is, I think, a pretty terrible place to be. So cubes are something implemented in MapleStory that cost approximately $1.50 each that are used to change or upgrade power of in-game equipment in MapleStory. I believe it's kind of like the gem system in Lost Ark if you've played that, but it's not really anything similar to what we've seen in like Genshin Impact, for example, because there's no way to like purchase equipment, but this directly has a dollar value associated with it. Nexon continued to change the odds until March 2021, and in some cases ensuring particularly high demand cubes didn't drop at all. Like, there was a period of time that if you were spending money of this, there was literally a 0% chance you could have got something. Not even pushed lower, zero, but did not notify players of the changes. In fact, in August 2011, Nexon released a statement saying that no changes had been made. So just a pure lie about the statistics there, which sucks. If you play gacha games, you know that a few years ago, there was legislation that was passed that required drop rates to be revealed in games. This article does go on to talk about that it did stem from China back in 2017, that you had to publicly post the drop rates of in-game items on gacha systems and loot boxes, but later it was adopted in North America and other Western countries as well. That's why when you play games like Genshin Impact, you can go in and you can see the drop rate information, or again, Punishing Gray Raven, any gacha game with that. And for a lot of players, there's always been a little bit of doubt that is that really the case? Is those really the drop rates that you're going to see at that time? And it wasn't. Now, again, this is Nexon specifically we're talking about. This isn't necessarily meaning that it's the same thing that's happening to all of the other gacha games out there from, Hoyoverse games or from Kuro games. This is specifically Nexon. But it puts the fear and gives some validity to it, which I think is damaging to kind of the overall ecosystem of those games as a whole. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I never actually played MapleStory at the time. If I had, I would be even more pissed at this moment finding out about those drop rate changes, but I haven't. So I'm not out anything personally as far as I know at this given point in time. However, I wanted to take a minute to look at some of the Nexon games because honestly, I have a hard time trusting them at all at this point and wanting to look at some of their other IPs. So I did go to their website to take a look at it. And so if you didn't know, the only Nexon mobile game I've ever played actually is this game called V4. It's kind of like maybe like a BDO clone if you had to like bring something in comparison. A lot of auto battling, MMO stuff. I played it for a little while, didn't stick with it, wasn't great. But I was so disappointed to see that Blue Archive is from Nexon Mobile. And now I've reacted to a bit of Blue Archive content before. It's a fairly popular gacha game, and it was one that I had looked at wanting to at least like try out and give a first impressions on. If you haven't been around the channel for a very long time, I like to give a lot of games a first impressions, give my opinion on it, and give a review. You know, give my thoughts on it. Connor's Thoughts, it's the channel, who would have thought? And Blue Archive was one of those games that I wanted to check out. But now that I can see that they're published with Nexon, I don't know. That's a huge like hesitation on my part that I don't know if I can bring myself to go in and do that. I don't want to support Nexon at all. Like, in my opinion, this is like a rotten burn situation. Sell off the games to other companies. I literally have absolute zero trust in this developer at this point. Now, some people may think I'm a little naive and thinking, well, you probably shouldn't trust Hoyoverse either. You probably shouldn't trust Kuro Games either. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know the exact numbers. We haven't cracked the code and actually gone in and seen the statistics. We can only look at the public drop rates. So I see the argument that somebody is making there, but having suspicions of something and having actual proof and legal ramifications for it are totally different. The reason why this is also a little more sour grapes, I couldn't find the reference for it. So take this part with a grain of salt. I did see it posted that it was estimated that the amount that the game made as a result of these deceptive practices was somewhere ranging in the 400 million USD mark. So the developer made 400 million USD and is now being fined just shy of 9 million USD. Like, that is still an insane profit that this company is walking away with. And also, from my understanding, still doesn't rectify anything from the players who have lost all of this money. The money's going to the government because they're being fined. Somebody can feel free to correct me in the comments and say that there is going to be, you know, some kind of return to the players who had accounts active during that time. But to my knowledge, that's not the case. I don't think this is a class action lawsuit. This is just a fine from the Trade Commission. So players are still out collectively millions of dollars. The FTC is getting their cut from the fine. And now Nexon's still walking away, what, with 391 million USD as a result of the deceptive practices? Like, that's just so screwed. That's so messed up the whole way around that, like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, I'm out. Like, I don't think I can do it. Like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys play Blue Archive? Is this going to affect you playing that game? Do you have more confidence in that IP and that maybe it was just limited to MapleStory in this case? I don't know. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments down below. All I know is I'm pissed about it. I don't want to play another Nexon game ever again myself. And I think it's just going to damage the kind of digital like drop rate industry as a whole and its perception even more with a proven case of this happening and that manipulation taking place. So that's why I'm extra mad, because it's not just hurting Nexon. I think it's hurting gacha games and those types of games total. Some of you may see that as a positive. I still think it sucks either way. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.